Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is it. It's another round 4 match. Richard versus Nick in here. Oh, Zoroark VSTAR versus what I believe is Miraidon EX. This is very cool matchup that we've got for you today at the San Antonio Regional Championships. My name is Jake. I'm rewatching the official TBCI live stream of the tournament and just doing my own commentary of the matches in my mother's basement. So if you do like the content that we make and maybe you want to see me have a better setup someday, aka when I get back from the Christmas holiday and go back to Las Vegas in my studio, make sure to hit like, comment, subscribe. Anyways, going into this match right now, Zoroark VSTAR, I am so excited to see this. I did not know that this deck was going to be showcased. I'm actually watching back. I only have watched the top 8 up to this point, and I have not seen the other matches, so this is my first reaction to them. Zoroark VSTAR, my favorite V-Star that was made, and I'm so excited because it was not utilized in the game up to this point. And so Richard getting a decent start off a couple trekking shoes, getting rid of a Gengar, going to be getting a third trekking shoes. Absolutely insane. They do have an attachment for turn with that double turbo, but they're just going to discard it and grab a psychic energy. So no matter what, they are going to have an attachment at this point. So we'll see exactly what they do. It looks like they are going to attach. What other cards do they have in their hand? Looks like they have a gloves, I think. I think a psychic type gloves. I can't remember exactly what that's called, but they've got Luminion and whatnot, but they're just going to pass. They know that Raikou does more damage for bench Pokemon, so probably just trying to make sure that they don't just get a turn 1 donk, or at least struggle getting there. But Nick going to be having a turn 1 Nest Ball at this point. Nest Ball, you do definitely grab Miraidon. Miraidon EX, a very good Pokemon if you do not know in this deck, has a wonderful ability that allows you to grab 2 basic lightning Pokemon and put them on your bench. It's basically a battle VIP pass that can attack, and with a attack that does 220 damage, it's a very good Pokemon. And so using that ability right away, that tandem unit is the official name of it if you want to know. Probably going to be grabbing like Raikou and then potentially a Flaffy if they have one in the deck. Eyeing up the Iron Hands. Okay, Iron Hands would be a very interesting decision, but definitely grabbing the Mareep, I would think. Mareep evolving Flaffy is very good for your energy acceleration engine in there, getting stuff from the discard pile, reutilizing resources, and the Iron Hands coming in. I think maybe the Iron Hands because you know they play those Gengars, and so you're probably just looking to knock out the Gengar with your Iron Hands. And so now playing a Peony. Peony is not a card that we see a lot of times in Miraidon. They're going to be opting for 2 cards. I don't think they had to... oh, I think it's 2 trainer cards that Peony says. So you do have to reveal it. Going to be grabbing Mew EX and Squawkabilly. So going for a really aggressive turn 1 play. Using the... whatchamacallit, the electric generator to look at the top 5 cards and attach up to 2 basic lightning energies. They found 3, so they're attaching both of them right there to that Miraidon. If they find an escape rope, they find a switch, any sort of switching card, it's going to be a game 1 donk, and I'm going to be really sad for my Zoroark V-Star, but they are going to be able to draw fresh 3 cards off of the Mew EX from Pokemon 151. Draw until you have 3 cards in your hand, and they find a switch. Oh my god, I hate this. I hate this game. I hate this world. Just let my Zoroark have fun. Well, that was a really fast game 1. We'll see if the game 2 is even faster. Alright, looking at their prizes. Interesting to see that they play both Psychic Energies and Water Energies. We did see in game 1 they ditched a Melanie. Them being Richard. Richard had ditched a Melanie in the game, so definitely if you're playing Melanies, you play Water Pokemon as well. So looks like they're talking about something on the table. Looks like maybe a sleeve issue. Maybe like a sleeve got dented or ripped. I don't know. I'm going to skip past it. And so here's the replay of what happened. Oh, so one of the cards just like flipped over, and so there was technically knowledge gained in there. Very honest mistake, does not happen often, so it looks like they got through it. And so here are the prize cards: 2 lightning energies and 2 beach quartz. 2 beach quartz is actually a decent deal, but you saw from Nick, they play escape ropes, they play switches, they have a lot of switching effects. So Richard hopefully looking to find a little bit more Pokemon. They did use the capturing aroma, did get a tail, so I believe that means a basic Pokemon. So they're looking to grab Zoroark V in this one. The Radiant Greninja are going to be really, really good for drawing cards, getting those water energies in the discard pile for the Melanies, and also threatening a Moonlight Shuriken, actually, potentially. Definitely, definitely something that probably won't happen because whatchamacallit, the Melanie only accelerates to V Pokemon, but going to be putting down a Gapedrog Bog, if you do not know, because it was not showcased last game. Zoroark VSTAR does more damage the more benched Pokemon, or the more Pokemon you have that have damage on them. So, going to be doing another Tails, so going to be putting down another Zoroark V, probably learning his lesson from the last game and just grabbing a Pokemon V to put down on the bench. So, putting down a couple different Zoroark Vs, I would think, and yes, putting the damage counter on it. So, very, very pretty looking deck. I love the Zoroark V art. Going to be attaching to that Zoroark V right there. Not doing anything with the double turbo in terms of attaching, but going to be discarding it to draw more cards. And so probably looking for some pretty good setup next turn. I don't think that they have a great hand because that Melanie is not going to be able to draw them any cards. They do have another double turbo to be able to use off of Radiant Greninja again, but also an escape rope. So Nick Robinson, not going to really be having anything. This is going to be Richard's game, I think. Going to Nick Robinson, going to be accelerating an energy, a lightning energy, onto the Raichu right there. And I mean, I don't know if Richard has the hand to be able to donk. It all could depend on this Radiant Greninja draw and also the top deck. The Manaphy is going to be nothing. I think you have to get rid of the double turbo right there with the concealed card, so good job there. Going to be getting the gloves, going to be getting a damage pump, so there's going to be no good attack in this one. You could switch into this Zoroark V. There is an attack on the Zoroark V to attack for free. You are not required in energy to be able to attack with it. I believe it's 30 damage, and then you can switch your Pokemon with one on the bench. I don't mind this play just going into the Radiant Greninja. You know that this Raichu is ready to attack, so it's probably going to knock out something in the active, so you'd rather it be the Radiant Greninja, even though that thing is your draw. They did top deck, them being Nick, top decked a Peony, so thinking about attaching this this whatchamacallit, this bravery charmer here might not be a bad idea, but opting not to do it, I kind of, I don't know, I kind of wish he did attach it. I don't know what tool card you play that you would go over that because it's just going to get discarded into not being used anyway, so might as well just give you more health. I guess the Force Seal Stone is probably a really good reason to do it because your Force Seal Stone can grab you anything that you want. And so Nest Ball getting Miraidon, that was the other trainer card that they grabbed. Going to be getting some damage on that because of Gapedrog Bog. Going to be getting some damage on that. Oh, wait, no, is it only from hand? Oh, I'm so sorry. Only Pokemon from hand can be damaged from Gapedrog Bog. So using Nest Ball goes around that, and then using the ability of Miraidon, it also goes around it. So unfortunate for the opponent, for Richard, but you know what? You're getting it on your own, dudes. It's mainly for your own guys. So You don't really mind that too much. And so for Sealstone, going to be using that, their V-Star power for the game, using Star Alchemy to grab Mew EX. That Mew EX is going to have damage on it. That Mew EX, I believe, is going to have damage on it, but they're going to draw 3 cards in this one. Alright, I need to see Gapejog Bog. When are they going to put damage on these dudes? But anyways, going to be continuing in this. They've got another peony for next turn, got an energy to attach. I don't hate the idea of putting it on Iron Hands. There we go, there's the damage. I don't hate the idea of putting it on Iron Hands because Iron Hands does take a lot to power up, but you could also probably get it on Miraidon if you wanted to. So just going to be, I think they're deciding between using an attack or just kind of passing the turn. I kind of wouldn't like if they didn't do that, and so just going to be using the, what is it, fast charge, I think the attack name is, to just accelerate another energy in and out of deck. They're saying, you know what, I don't think you're going to knock me out. I really don't think you do based on your last turn, and you know what, I think they're probably correct on that. Fast charge being one of those attacks that you can use on your first turn, so burning the first turn attack rule. Richard using Gapejog Bog once again, and going to be, ooh, that time going to be discarding the water energy, so going to be able to use Melanie. The retreating part might be a little bit more difficult because they used their escape rope earlier in this game, but going to be looking for an Ultra Ball to discard 2 cards. Going to be that Manaphy and whatever, the Cleansing Gloves, I believe it is, because Cleansing Gloves not going to be needed in this matchup. Going to be grabbing a Zoroark VSTAR. So Zoroark VSTAR, a very, very cool Pokemon. Not only are you going to be able to use your supporter Melanie for the turn to draw 3 cards, but with Zoroark VSTAR, it has a VSTAR power with the ability Phantom Star. During your turn, you may discard your hand and draw 7 cards. One of the best supporters ever printed is Professor's Research, a longtime Pokemon, or a long-time effect in the Pokemon trading card game that is discard your hand and draw 7 cards. So, effectively being able to use that Melanie to draw 3 cards and then discarding your hand to draw 7 more cards is basically like using 2 supporters in a single turn. So very, very cool V-Star power. Going to be using that Trekking Shoes though, instantly throwing that Gengar in the discard pile because you do not need that Pokemon in your hand. You want it in the discard pile or on your bench. The only way to get it on your bench is through the discard pile with that Netherworld Gate ability. So, going to be thinking out the hand, probably evolving the, or choosing not to. And I actually don't like this. I mean, I do kind of like this, I think. I was going to say that evolving the other Zoroark V to a Zoroark V-Star, but I think you prioritize getting the Zoroark V with damage on it because you want to fill out your bench. Because again, Zoroark V-Star with Ticking Curse does 50 more damage for each of your Pokemon that has damage counters on them. So, going to be able to continue racking up that damage. So really interesting from Richard only opting to put Melanie back in. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think Roxanne is really, really good for the late game. Even though they have that Mew there, Mew actually doesn't help them really at all off of a Roxanne. So I personally would have put Roxanne back in, but they played this matchup more and they played this deck probably more than I have. So we'll see what happens after this short ad break. Okay, and here we go, continuing Zoroark V-Star using its Phantom Star ability to draw 7 new cards. We'll see what they got going on. Getting another Zoroark V, so all 4 Zoroark V are hitting the field now at this point. Going to be evolving another Zoroark V-Star. Might as well get it out of the hand, but I don't think I see a switching card in this. So going to be leaving this Greninja here in the active. Unfortunately, Nick prizing 2 beach courts. It'd be awesome if he played a beach court right now. in his previous turn for Richard, but man, just not being able to. I mean, really, and I don't know if I hate this play from Richard when he used the escape rope to use the Grenin or the Zoroark V attack and then switched back into the Greninja. I don't think I hate that play because of the Raichu having energies on it did threaten a knockout, but it just really, really hurt to not be able to like have any other switching options available to you, and now you're immediately punished with this Greninja V on the bench. So we'll see how the game plan continues. Nick kind of just sitting pretty at this point, I think. They've got a Raichu there. They're going to boss up that Zoroark, and they're just going to wipe that thing out. They're just going to try to get as many energies on it, drawing 2 more cards. They've got a Flaffy there to accelerate a energy. They've got an energy card they can attach, and then Peony for 2 more cards, aka like Electric Generator and something else. So, I mean, they're looking so good right now. It is not looking. This is looking bad and worse to Richard, and going to just go into the attack. I don't I would have loved to see a little bit more board establish with Nick, but maybe know something that I don't in terms of this game plan. So, going to be knocking out that Zoroark VSTAR that had all that energy on it. So, going to be needing 2 more energies, and they're going to need a Peony or Melanie at this point. And it looks like they will get that Melanie because of the Luminion V, and going to be able to attack with the Zoroark VSTAR. One thing that was very, very nice for the Raichu and the Miraidon deck is that the Raichu opted to get rid of um, all of the energies on the Raichu because they're like, yeah, this Pokemon's probably going to get knocked out because they probably need to use a supporter to be able to get the energies. And so going to be attaching those 2 energies onto the Pokemon, drawing 3 more cards, Gapejock Bog, another Luminion, and some damage pumps, I believe that is. So going to be moving some damage pump over to the Greninja. I think maybe you want to hold on to the last one or use it right now, I guess. Just stacking that Greninja up to make sure that your Zoroarks have as minimal damage on them as possible. And you're kind of just swinging away. Yeah, you take a knockout, but it doesn't really feel good at this point. You go down to 4 prizes left, as well as Nick having 4 prizes left. Nick going to. I don't even know if I'd play the beach court at this point. I don't think it's necessarily needed for your game plan. I think it only just helps your opponent out more. So maybe you just keep the Gapejock Bog. I mean, most of your Pokemon you're just laying down through Miraidon's ability. So I'm going to be whiffing on Miraidon's ability as well. Looking to just use, it seems, the oh, I guess if they wanted to play that Mew in hand, then I guess it makes sense to put down the beach court. So, using Electric Generator, going to be trying to find 1 energy for the Miraidon, probably not finding any. That's kind of a big deal, I would think, but they do have Peony to grab like another Electric Generator. Um, they've got 4, 5, 6, 7 energies, I think, left in deck that I counted. 1, so just grabbing double generator. They do have 2 Mews, so they do have 2 opportunities to draw 3 cards. And so looks like these players, just having a lot of fun in these games, this set. And just going to be looking to get an energy. And there is that energy. Going to be choosing Zapdos. Oh, very interesting that they chose the Zapdos for the play. Maybe going to be knocking out the Luminion eventually in this game, I think is their game plan. I probably would have gone the Miraidon first in case right there you whiff on the energies, because now who do you attack with? I mean, I guess you can draw into an energy, and Flaffy's always got your back there. But I don't know. I feel like I would have secured the Miraidon play first before trying to go for this Zapdos. You do have the Ultra Ball there to do some digging, and you only get 3 more cards. So yeah, I really getting Ultra punished. I feel like at this point potentially. So here's 3 more cards. Do they find an energy? And they do. They do find some energy. So it's still attaching to the Zapdos. Okay, a Zapdos, it does 110, right? It is going to be a one-price Pokemon. Going to be doing 110. Why? Why? Why not hit with Miraidon? I mean, you're maybe okay. So the reason I guess not hitting with Miraidon is because you don't knock out on the Zoroark VSTAR. So then you're trading 0 prizes to 2 prizes. But when you take a knockout with the Zapdos, it becomes 3 prizes to 2 prizes outside of your favor. So I guess maybe that's a fine play going in with the Zapdos. It just feels really, really weird. So Zoroark VSTAR going to be going another attacking, taking another knockout, just going for a boss, probably hitting the Miraidon, I would think, or the Iron Hands. I think you're probably more afraid of the Iron Hands because you have 120 damage on you. I don't think Iron Hands can knock you out. I think they've used too many generators at this point to where you're super worried about it, but I guess it's always a possibility in your head. Going to be getting a trekking shoes, going to be looking at that top card, deciding not to. It's an escape rope. We'll see if that haunts them later in this game again. Going to be moving some damage over from the Zoroark V-Star to get more damage off with the Lumineon, and just going to be attacking the Iron Hands, just saying, look buddy, I hate that guy, I hate the extra prizes, and so taking 2 more prize cards. So we'll see how this goes for the Miraidon player. They do have another move with the Zapdos, but it looks like it's not going to be taking a knockout, right? Because they only have 100 damage on them. So they're only going to be at 120. So 220 damage total. They've got a second Iron Hands in deck. I don't know. Like, if I'm Nick, I feel like I'm scooping this game. It just feels like you don't necessarily have enough. Now, you could. Yeah, I just don't know because you're going to be knocking out, right? You're probably going to. Ooh, the Bravery Charm could do some good math for you if you hit an energy, because Bravery Charm puts you at. Well, I think it only puts you at 270, and Zoroark V-Star can hit for 300 if all the Pokemon have damage on them. But when you take a knockout here, they do need 1 more Pokemon to get damage. And so if they have any Gengars in their discard pile, it's game over at that point. But I don't think right now I see a Gengar in their discard pile, but we know they have 1 in hand. So going to be grabbing 2 energies. Can they put these energies in any way they'd like? So going to be putting 1 on the Miraidon, probably the other one on the Iron Hands if I had to take a guess. We'll see exactly how they play it out. I'd be interested to see a genome hacking eventually in like a best of 3 with the Gape Jog Bogs, but I guess you don't really put down enough Pokemon anyways. They just attach 2 energies and the Bravery Charm to Iron Hands. So they've got 3 cards now. What is this game? I feel like I'm losing brain cells. Man, I feel like Nick is really cooking, and I don't even know what he's doing when he's cooking. There must be some reason attacking with the Iron Hands is better. And so, going to be using the 3 energies. What's the Iron Hands' HP? So 230, 280 HP. Going to be using Arm Press for the knockout. I do understand that, and I do like that. But your Miraidon gets you like just a little bit more damage, and here's a Gengar, here's a Underworld Door, and just going to be attacking for the game 3. So 25 minutes left. I definitely think a game 3 will be concluded at this point. So we'll see how it goes and see if Zoroark can take the win. We'll see how Nick plays this. Game 3 now on the line. 3 lightning energies is a big deal. I don't know why we haven't seen Raikou in this game. Raikou is such a good Pokemon, it feels like. Low energy, but I guess maybe doesn't hit enough damage, potentially. Maybe that's the reasoning, but it's a cheaper attacker than Miraidon, so we'll see how it goes. I guess the Luminion start sucks for Richard, I will say, and Nick having a pretty doggone good start with a Mew in the active, a free Retreater, and then the ability to put down all the Pokemon he wants. Miraidon, Flaffy with the first tandem unit and the second tandem unit. Probably going to be like, if I had to take a guess, Iron Hands and nothing? He's going to do nothing? Does he have Lumineon in hand? Because Squawkabilly's in the deck. Not even going to put down the Squawkabilly. Oh, man, production. Cut this out. Cut this out, production. Cut this out, please. I'm begging you right now. Going to be using an electric generator right away, just getting a bunch of energies into play, and they do find 2. Probably going to be putting it on the Iron Hands right away, I would think. I think that's probably your best option. You could probably put it on the Miraidon, though. The Miraidon would be doing 220 damage to a Pokemon, a Zoroark V, because you do have Boss in your hand, or you could amp you very much potentially in a upcoming turn on the Lumineon if that stays in the active, because I think you just need 2 more energies. And so pretty good turn, I feel like, for Nick. We'll see if Richard has a pretty good turn also. They are going to get a Gape Jaw Bog. And looks like they're just going to have me Ionoing their first turn. So fresh new hand for Nick. We'll see how it goes. And I think if you're Richard at this point, like, you need to find a Zoroark V, obviously. You probably should find Greninja as well. They did find a couple good cards, I will say, in this, but I don't think it's going to be good enough. So there's going to be the energy. There's going to be an attachment as well. And, well, Nick doesn't have a boss's orders in hand anymore, I don't think, but he has plenty of energies. Is going to be able to get an attachment. Does have a Lost Vacuum in case he wants to play another Pokemon, but probably just going to thin the hand if anything. So the damage counter on Lumineon, I don't mind because Lumineon's going to die anyways. So opting to put down the Jirachi just to get another Pokemon with damage on it, and not looking good for our man Richard and Zoroark VSTAR. Very, very cool game too, but it's been tough in this set of 3. An energy attachment going over for Nick. I would probably put the Bravery Charm on that big dog, because you definitely no, don't, no, ooh, I don't really agree with this Beach Court, and the reason for that is you're not benching any Pokemon right now, so why would you give the Lumineon free retreat? I mean, you're going to knock it out, but any of those dudes, free retreat. That Jirachi now has free retreat, and so they're going to be using the amp you very much. I apologize. It was 4 energies on there. Now I agree way more with his play that he did, that it was 4 energies. And he's going to be taking 3 prizes off of it. 1 more knockout with the amp you very much, and it's going to be 3 prizes on the docket. 1 card that he'll get, and it's going to be Zoroark VSTAR off of that Ultra Ball there. And so he's going to be using Zoroark VSTAR's VSTAR power to discard his hand, which is 0 cards, and draw 7 fresh ones in this. So both players just having a good old time. 17.5 minutes left in this one. Plenty of time in this game, especially as Nick has already taken 3 prizes in this one, halfway to winning. Could be doing a little high five. I do like that. I do like that they're both having fun in this one. I mean, it sucks when the games like sometimes end in like donks and stuff like the game one did, but players in very very good spirits in this one is what you want to see. Richard doing a Ultra Ball, getting away that cleansing gloves and a Roxanne. Really been against the Roxanne in this game, although being at 3 prizes, Roxanne might not be too bad. But opting for the Gengar, going to be getting the Gengar going. And we haven't really seen too much of the strength of Gengar except for game 2. But Gengar, a really, really good game, especially when you can use your supportive return and go in with research. What is that other Pokemon right there that they've got? Is that another Luminion? I think it's a water type Pokemon. I'm not 100% sure what that alt art was, but going to be drawing into a Greninja and using Gape Drop Bog on it, but also potentially drawing cards. They are just splattering down Pokemon at this point because Manaphy is now on the field and no room for another Pokemon besides Gengar. You do have to get 6 Pokemon on the field because that Iron Hands has what 280 HP now. So you have one Gengar in the discard pile. So going to be a little tough, but with the Pal Pad, getting those 2 cards back in your deck, you hope you draw into them later. Going to be only getting 4 Pokemon on the field, 5 in total for 250 damage, 230 damage after the double turbo energy math. So could get a clean 280 if they somehow find a 6 Pokemon, but with their hand, I don't think I see the play and the line in this one. So, going to be looking through that discard pile. Again, just getting that Gengar there. Going to be getting 3 damage counters on that dude from the Netherworld Gate. And then looking to potentially... No, I don't think they can do anything else. That's a Gape Jog Bog. That's a Melanie in their hand. I think that's a Damage Pump. And like one other card that I don't think they can play. So, going to be doing the attack onto the Iron Hands, doing 230 damage and surviving the hit because of the Bravery Charm. So Bravery Charm coming in clutch. See what Nick does. Nick probably going to be using an Arm Press, I would think. You know they play Damage Pump, so you probably want to put as much damage on them as possible if you can. And even better if you can somehow finagle a Miraidon attacker into this game. So Flappy coming in to accelerate some of the energies that you've discarded earlier in turns. Going to be using the Miraidon to put another Pokemon down, being Raichu. Maybe opting to get a one-hit KO on this Zoroark VSTAR. Definitely if you hit 1K, definitely if you one-hit KO this Zoroark VSTAR, you just win the game. So be a very, very strong play. Now, don't Lost Vacuum your tool card. That would suck. But going to be using a electric generator instead, whiffing on that. But I think they've been pretty fair with electric generators in this best of 3 series to this point. So not the worst if you have to swing with the Iron Hands right now. They do have a Raihan, it looks like, in hand, but Raihan not going to help them because they're the one knocking Pokemon out. So going to be accelerating some energies onto the Miraidon right here, and just going to be doing the... I wonder which one they're doing. How much damage is this? So it had 1 damage counter on it already. Did 120... Did they use Ampu very much again? I think they did. I don't know why you use Ampu very much in that point. I don't 100% know. Maybe the math doesn't exactly matter at all, but anyways, Richard into his turn going to be using a damage pump to just put some stuff on the Manaphy, and then just swings into the Iron Hands, knocking that out. So not having any dudes that he can play right now. Melanie, no water energies in the discard pile at this point to draw some cards. He's just sitting like a duck at this point. The Zoroark VSTAR, unless somehow Nick doesn't find any energies at all, the Zoroark VSTAR will fall, and then probably a concede coming after that. But anyways, once again, advertisements. And looks like it's just going to be getting rid of that Raihan. Not necessarily worried too much in this game. Going to be grabbing double electric generator again. That peony really, really good at just grabbing generators after slapping down another Iron Hands. So the electric generator probably going to be going to the Miraidon. Whiffing on that one. They get one more generator, but they also have a genome hacking. So if they whiff the generator, that's not the worst thing in the world, because they do have the opportunity still to draw cards, and it all comes down to this. There is an energy right there. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, I guess they have the Flaffy, so I guess it never really mattered if they hit it or not. Just deciding now what Pokemon they want to attach it to, because the Flaffy is going to get the Miraidon ready to attack. And I definitely think you do attack with Miraidon in this scenario because of Raichu having to discard energies. So not being able to pick up the electric generator, having a lot of fun in this game. I've really enjoyed. It's been really refreshing seeing these players just play and have fun. Getting an Ultra Ball, Spiritomb, and Squawkabilly, I wouldn't mind seeing the Ultra Ball, just getting rid of those two Pokemon there. Just so then they don't get like bottom decked or anything like that. You might not grab anything and you might not play anything at this point. But at least, you know, if your opponent decides to Iono or Roxanne, those cards that are pretty much useless in this matchup are not going to hit your deck ever again. So I don't mind this play. I think this is a fine play. We've got 10 minutes left, plenty of time still. And the Miraidon is going to come up and take the knockout. Now, Miraidon can't attack next turn, but you've got a Raichu that's pretty much ready to go at this point. So looks like you're just going to be sending up the Gengar. Now, did we see any Psychic Energy in this deck earlier? Nope. And it looks like he's just going to be showing his hand, being like, look, this was my terrible hand. Congratulations. And Nick Robinson is going to be overcoming the Zoroark VSTAR on a final score of 2-1. Congratulations to Nick. This is a different version of Miraidon that we've seen. We've seen like Andrew Mahone, Tricky Jim, and the Akron area really popularize Miraidon, but not really with the peonies. So this was cool to see this one played. Peony for double generator, obviously pretty good play, especially when it also grabs things like Forest Sealstone as well. So very, very cool. Thank you so much for watching this round in the San Antonio Regional Championships. Hope you enjoyed the commentary. Make sure to check out more videos if you like Pokemon commentary, if you like One Piece TCG commentary. I'm just having fun talking about card games. So thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.